So in this video, we're going to be talking a little bit about center mode to help you understand a little bit on how the center mode settings work. So let's look at these two examples, and the MovingBox setup for these are actually very similar. Here we have slides to show is 3. Now, just to explain what that means, here you'll notice that you actually potentially see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slides because we see a little bit of the previous and next slides on the very outside. However, what this means when you say slides to show, that is the number of complete slides we will show. So when we set it to 3, it means I see all of the center slide and then all of 2 adjacent slides next to it. Now, how do we get the little previews of the next and previous on the very outsides of these? So that is done inside the center mode settings, and that is all done with the horizontal padding. So when I set this to be 10%, 10% width of this particular area will be displayed as the next and previous. Here, I'm going to go ahead and set this to 0. What you'll notice when I set that to 0 is I no longer see any of the previews on those outside slides. So this padding percentage gives us that preview. Now, vertical padding, this might be good to have if your center slide, okay, if you apply certain styles to it and it grows to be too large, having some vertical padding there could actually help you out. Speaking of scaling, here we have center scaling, and that allows us to actually scale up our center slide. So here it actually scales up to 120% the size, so 1.2x the size that it is normally. And then edge opacity, that applies an opacity to all of the slides that are not the center slide. Now you might be wondering, how do we get this spaced out look versus this overlapped look? And that's all done with just the slide styles. So here on the spaced implementation, I just applied a margin of 1 rem to the left and right of our slides. That gives us the gap that we see there. And what we'll see on the overlapped version is the slide styles has a margin set to 0. Now I wanted to show you this simple example down here at the bottom of the demo that has just images, right? But as you see, this is a center mode. Now, what was accomplished here is something that might be a little bit confusing. So if we look at this implementation here, we'll notice that this does use center mode, but I'm only seeing 1 slide at a time. Now, I know a lot of people might think, oh, I want to show 3 slides here. But again, remember, these slides that are on the outside that aren't showing the entire slide are all accomplished with the horizontal padding. So in this particular example, I have slides to show set to 1. Then if we look further down in my center mode settings, I have the horizontal padding set to 20%. And then I also have a margin set via the slide style stack that adds this little spaced out look so that we have actually a gap in between each individual slide. All of these examples are inside the demo file that you can play around with and see exactly how they are done as well.